What is going on, everybody? Welcome to Uncalled for +1. It's episode 5 because we have Logan here as our +1. He's the
Logan.
He's the fifth wheel.
Oh, there we go.
It does work. There you go.
Hey, Logan.
Logan's our fifth wheel. So what?
He's right there.
He is. Yeah, he's right down here.
He was.
He was. That's fair. But anyways, Uncalled for episode 5. So 4 + 1. You know, we had 3 where it was just 3 of us. 4 where there was us 4, and it was our golden episode. And now it's 4 + 1 for 5. So I suppose that means the next one has to be, we're gonna be out a person. This is John's last week, which is very sad.
Yeah.
Sad day. Big sad.
It is the saddest of sads.
Can we get F's in the chat?
F's in the chat.
So,
pay respects for John.
Since this is Logan's first week here, he doesn't have a topic, but Dan apparently has a topic for Logan that he would like to discuss with him here.
Nervous.
So he's been teasing us. He's been teasing us all
It's
week.
a fantastic topic.
It is a fantastic topic.
He's been telling us, I'm not going to tell you what it is, but Logan's going to hate it. And,
you guys know.
And
Logan
so we, let's find out what it actually is. So,
You want me to blow it up?
get
Start
into
off?
it, man.
All right.
Let's do it.
I would ask a question that's really like a statement, and I just want your feelings on the truth. The statement is Star Wars is the most overrated franchise in existence.
Agreed.
Oh my God.
How you feeling, Logan? How you feeling over there?
Oh my gosh.
How you feeling?
Dan. Dude, that statement right there just upset me.
So
much.
true. That is the point.
That's not true at all.
It is so true. And we're gonna start off and jump into
Oh my gosh.
the biggest fact. I'm not a hater either. I'm not a Star Wars hater. I'm just not one of the fools that I can call Star Wars like diehard fans. I think everything that is cool about Star Wars, everything that is worthwhile, comes from the extended universe outside of the movies. I think the movies are garbage.
That's fake news.
I would agree with
That is
Logan.
fake
That's
news.
definitely fake news.
Do I need to mute Logan?
No, don't mute
No,
Logan.
he's good for now. I'll tell you later.
No, I definitely think Star Wars is great.
I know.
Yeah.
I love it. It's one of my
I enjoy
favorite.
it.
I would say it's my favorite movie franchise. It's not my favorite movie, but
Space
like,
Jam.
actually, you know what?
Dark
Ooh,
Knight
I
trilogy
was gonna
is
say
so much better than
I was
Star
gonna
Wars.
Dark Knight trilogy
Don't even pull that.
is right up there with me for like my favorite movie series. I kind of forgot that existed for a few seconds, and
PK, you're late. You missed the good stuff.
it just popped in my head. But no, Star Wars, it's definitely not overrated.
Oh, it's
it is
incredibly
definitely
overrated.
Yeah.
You think so? Really?
I'll give it to you with the
No.
sequels because those are pretty trash, but the prequels and the originals.
See, it's
Mute him, Tim.
He's gone.
He's gone.
funny. Like,
That's all you get a Logan.
I think Episode 3 is my favorite Star Wars movie, though. I think out of the whole franchise, that's probably my favorite one because I love Darth Vader. He's my favorite villain of all time. So, like, seeing the transformation to him, I love it. It's great.
It's so basic.
That's the whole story. It's about
Can't hear you. You're muted.
I'm still
Yeah.
muted.
You're
You muted, you jerk.
You can unmute him. That's okay. We'll let you go.
You can unmute him. It's fine.
No, I mean, like that's the whole story. Like it's about Anakin and it's about Darth Vader and it's about that, that character's arc and that's what the whole prequels are about is Anakin becoming Darth Vader and then Darth Vader his redemption into the original trilogy. I think it's a beautiful story.
It is.
so
It's
basic.
a great story.
It's
Especially
so
when
basic.
you look into it, like it's like the lore and the world of the.
Oh yeah, hey, we'll get there.
Okay.
The lore, the world building is really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Not in the movies. It's so basic and one-dimensional. It's just ridiculous. The cool stuff comes from the extended universe, the canon and non-canon. I think the non-canon is freaking fantastic.
Especially the old books. That
Oh
they
yeah,
nicked.
so
But
good.
Can
I
you
do
call
like
that part of the universe then if it's not canon?
Yeah, people
Yeah.
still think it's part of the
Yeah.
universe.
But it's not officially
And-
canon, so does it count?
And they continue to take pieces of that and make it into
Yeah.
canon. Like you saw that, let's see, Knights of the Old Republic, right, with Darth Revan. You saw that become canon in the last Star Wars movie.
Okay. That's fair, I guess.
I mean,
but
you
it's
see
not
that
like-
lots of times. They take pieces that are cool that they can work with and add it into whether it's a TV show or a movie or whatever. It's not the huge stuff, obviously, because it's mostly about Luke, the extended universe,
Yeah.
where he becomes, the truly amazing person that he should be that doesn't really show in the movies.
Well, that's
as you
also
noticed.
Disney's fault because
I say Disney really screwed those
like
sequels.
that's why Last Jedi is probably one of my least favorite movies of all time, just because they destroyed Luke's legacy and like made him just this hermit, and like the whole premise of that movie is like,
So that movie's
Oh.
trash, right?
yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, that movie's trash. That movie is garbage. I do not like that movie.
Oh, that's all right. That's all right.
See, I am very much a special effects guy, so I do love the special effects
Okay.
in the sequels. The story, not so much. There's a lot of
Sure.
things. There's a lot of stuff I don't like about the story in it. Of the characters, I'm not a fan of. Like the fact that no one ever before in the Star Wars universe was like, "Hey, you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna light speed into another ship." Like you can't tell me that's never been thought of until that moment when that chick was like, "Oh my god, I gotta save everybody."
It's good writing, right?
Terrible writing. And so trust me, I love Star Wars, love it to death, but the sequels sucked. Honestly, I don't like anything that Disney did because I think even Rogue One might be one of the worst Star Wars
Okay, well, you've
movies.
seen Mandalorian. Oh, you haven't seen Mandalorian?
I haven't seen The Mandalorian
Oh,
yet.
you definitely change your
That's
opinion. on
where
that.
it gets really good.
It is.
Okay.
I agree. Mandalorian was phenomenal.
I'm just
even-
talking movie-wise. I
Yeah.
think Rogue One might be my least favorite. I fall asleep.
Really?
I fall asleep every
I think
time.
Rogue One's great.
It's so boring to me. And I don't know why. It doesn't grab me like the other ones do.
Why did the other ones grab you?
I honestly don't know.
I think lightsabers.
I think maybe, yeah, like
I
the
really
lightsaber
think-
Okay,
fights are...
that's a good like point, right?
Yeah.
You love the original trilogy. You think it's fantastic, right?
Yeah.
The Star Wars duels and battles in that were terrible.
Yeah. And like that's something that like as a Star Wars fan growing up with the franchise, I used to be. I think the prequels are better. Like I thought that growing
Well,
up.
that was your era, right?
Yeah, and so then I grew up, and now that I'm older and a kind of more seasoned Star Wars fan, I actually like the original more, and I appreciate it more for kind of what it did for the story. And I love, like, I think Return of the Jedi is probably my favorite movie, which I know I probably get a lot of flack for Star Wars fans, because I know a lot of Star Wars fans think that's the weakest of the original. But I just love that movie. I love how Luke's become his own, the finally realized Jedi, and just a lot of those
A lot
beats
of
in
people
that
would
movie.
say New Hope is the worst of the original trilogy, but I mean, I think they're all pretty mediocre. All right. To what point do you think part of the love for the franchise is iconicism, and then what is actually like we really like this? Because it's definitely the most iconic franchise
Yeah,
to exist. I would say so.
yeah.
For a lot of reasons, like the time that came out, it was pretty new. Like you didn't see that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, no, it, like,
the world building and stuff was
Lucas-
like
yeah.
that's kind of different, right?
Now, this is a stupid question because I honestly don't know, though. What came out first, that or Star Trek? What's an older franchise? Star Wars or Star Trek?
Star
Like
Wars.
movies wise, Star Wars.
Yeah, Star Wars.
I don't know exactly when the first Star Trek TV show came out, but they're two. They're two. I guess you could say they're two sides of the same coin, but they're very different. Star Wars is supposed to be more action packed, and Star Trek was more exploration and
There's a lot of talking in Star Trek.
dialogue and
Yeah.
It's like the entirety
which
of Star
it knew
Trek.
it knew how to do dialogue. Star Wars not so much. George Lucas would even say he sucks at dialogue.
Yeah.
You can
I
see
think-
that in the prequels.
I think Anakin
I hate
has some of
sand.
the- Hey.
It made for
say
good
it.
memes.
It sucks. It's cool.
Made for good memes.
It's everywhere.
I don't disagree. I hate sand, but I don't know.
Yeah,
It came out at a time. It was new, like I said. It really revolutionized what was known for special effects at the time,
yeah.
which definitely had a huge impact. I would say, honestly, Tron should deserve more than that. But Star Wars was huge, and it really like set off the.
Huge.
Yeah, we know. It's our name. It's our name. We get it.
Yeah, just like shut up.
But story-wise, like we know what it's become and developed into, and it's so expansive in the lore and
Yeah.
the mythology of Star Wars is really cool, right? There's lots of awesome storylines, and the world building is like top notch.
Yeah.
But let's just jump into the movies. What about that was like a good story, especially going on to the sequels? Let's just start with the original trilogy. Okay? Good versus evil. It's hard to get away from that, granted.
That's like
Yeah.
almost every
It's granted.
movie
That,
series
that's how it
ever.
always comes.
Yeah.
But very simple, good versus evil. Big bad thing, Death Star.
Yeah.
Next movie. Bigger Death Star. Do you want to keep going? Because I think there's even bigger Death Star eventually in the series too, right?
Well, like I said, like the main focus of the series as a whole, besides the sequels, is that it's Darth Vader's story, and
It's
you
not
see,
though.
But
It's Luke's
no.
story.
See, that's what people think, but it's in reality. Like George Lucas's vision for Star Wars was Vader's story, and that's the whole point for the prequels, was to show Anakin's transition into Vader. And it's like, it kind of, if you watch The New Hope, you see that right away. You
Sure.
see that in the Tantum 5, when Vader first comes out, you see this menacing villain that's just he looks so cool, and you just want to know about him. And you see him, you don't really see much of him in The New Hope, but then after A New Hope, you see that, he kind of got defeated in the prior movie. And so Empire, that's why Empire is so great, is the fact that you actually see Vader has to kind of be like, he has to kind of come out of his loss and redeem himself to the Emperor. And, like, a lot of the extended lore does expand upon that. And I do think, if you just watch the movies, you want to get that full dialogue and that full story.
Not at all.
But I also think you could argue that for every franchise, because every movie only has
To an extent.
so long to tell a story.
Sure.
And so, you're always going to get extended universe content that's going to expand.
And that's why the TV shows I think are so fantastic, because they can really delve deeper. Like if you haven't watched The Mandalorian,
Yeah,
Jordan, watch it. It's
So
fantastic.
watch it.
I have
So
to at
Just
some
the
point. I know.
little bits, the nuances, everything that's added, like especially with
Well, let's
um,
not bring in spoilers for the.
Oh, I'm not.
Yes.
Especially with like Dave Filoni when he directs the episodes he directs, and the little tiny bits that you see from Clone Wars, fantastic.
Dave Filoni.
Fantastic.
So I need to watch Clone Wars as
Yes.
Yeah, you should.
Yes, you should.
It's
Okay.
good. They're a lot of fun.
well. Is that just so I'm clear? That's the animated one, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And then, now they're doing the Bad Batch, which is like a spin-off of that. But
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Uh,
just...
Is that animated as well?
Yes.
It is. That's
Okay.
the
Dave
Stormtroopers.
Filoni, like, he knows
Clone
what
Troopers,
he's doing,
sorry.
and he actually cares about George Lucas's vision, unlike, kind of like
What, Disney?
Ryan Johnson and Kathleen Kennedy.
He gets
do.
a lot of crap, Ryan Johnson, but we'll get into that in a little bit. But I just want to go back to something you said, like it's Darth Vader's story. He was such a
Yes.
this character that people latched onto, right? What is Darth Vader's worth without Luke, though?
Well,
That really came to be because Luke. You find out Luke is his son, right? That's where everything stems from. So without that, if Luke wasn't his son, he'd just be the big bad guy that they fight.
well, see, that's the point.
Cardboard
it's-
cutout villain.
You right? That's what I'm saying. That's exactly what the Emperor was.
Yeah.
But I know it's just a little thing I kind of noticed. I guess.
Yeah,
Your
well, I
thoughts
mean,
on
that's
it?
the whole point of it, is that it's him being redeemed by his son, and his son becoming, that Jedi, and getting redeemed in Return of the Jedi.
Sure, yeah.
And
So it's
becoming-
really the story of Luke redeeming him.
I'd
Not
say,
really the
like,
story of Anakin's redemption, but the story of Luke redeeming Anakin.
Vader
that is
doesn't
definitely-
change if Luke doesn't.
I'd
work
agree
with
with that.
it.
So
but
the
also
main
it's
character would be Luke in all that.
That would be my argument.
Yeah, I
But,
could see that. I could see that, but I definitely think you want to have. I mean, obviously, you want to have Luke without Vader,
Sure.
and
yeah.
so I think it's still Anakin's story. It's his son coming to redeem him.
Question. Sorry, my memory's foggy. I guess. When do you actually When is that I Am Your Father scene?
Empire. It's
Empire,
like,
yeah. Like,
kind
is
of
it,
Yeah,
how
episode
long
5.
is it? Is it right,
right
at the end?
at
Right.
the end of Empire.
At the end.
Yep.
So you got like
Yeah.
a whole movie without knowing anything.
Yeah.
So that's telling a little bit too. But
I don't
You
even
said
think
the-
did George Lucas even know when he wrote it that it was going to happen that way.
So he knew.
lots of stuff changed.
Yeah.
There's lots of stories. Like the whole Luke kissing Leia thing. That was a retcon.
Yeah. Yep.
That wasn't supposed to happen because they're brother and sister, obviously.
Yeah.
There was supposed to be like a love interest romance there.
Yeah.
And then he later on down the line, he's like, oh, they're going to be siblings.
Yeah. So with the original trilogy, like, they came out with A New Hope, and it was just Star Wars, just because at the time, like, nobody knew it was going to get as big as it did, and so
Yeah.
they thought they were just going to do the single movie. George Lucas thought he was just doing the one movie, and then after that, they're like, oh, this got pretty big. Let's see if we can do another one. So after that point, then George kind of started building this world and building these characters, and like that's where you get
Or
the,
stole it from his roommate, if you believe that.
What's that?
I said, or stole it from his roommate. If
Is
you
that a
believe
theory
that.
too?
Yes.
Really? I
A
didn't
lot
hear
of people
that.
believe that.
I've never heard that one.
That this whole thing was a fan fiction story written by his roommate in college that he found in a notebook and took. I don't know if that's true or not. Don't get on me,
okay.
but a lot of people actually think that. That's a theory.
Yeah,
I
I've
guess.
never heard that before.
I don't know if it's been debunked or proven or anything. I'm sure not. But you're saying though, Logan, Vader was redeemed, right? That
Yeah.
that's the whole thing.
Yeah.
You know, he turns his back on the Emperor at the end of A New Hope, right? And that's kind of an interesting thought, I guess. Is he really redeemed? You see his Force ghost, right?
Yes.
With Obi-Wan and Yoda, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
It's so funny. It's all just like a switch, and everything is forgiven, even though he like destroyed Alderaan and planets of people and stuff.
Well, see, that's
and
the thing.
And
he
don't
gets to
forget
live out
something-
and chill
Don't
with
forget
Yoda
about
and
the
Obi.
younglings.
And there's something else that kind
The
of confuses
younglings.
me. It took even Yoda and Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon how long to master the immortality skill so that they could become those ghosts?
That's a good.
How long did
Like-
Anakin study this?
So
How long did he train for
All he
this?
did was save his son, and then he's like, "Oh yeah, everything's forgiven."
But wasn't he like the most powerful Force user?
But still, did he know how
Outside
to
of
do
Luke,
that?
yeah.
So
so
He
there's
would have been if he didn't. He
to
was the
Weston's
chosen
idea.
one.
There actually is a lot of extended
Before he
universe stuff
switched,
that
but-
explains that.
Yeah.
And how.
well, you
he-
see, they never do that in
Yeah,
the movie,
yeah,
and it would be
and-
nice to have
yes.
some type of
Yep.
a background for it.
I'd give you that.
Now, granted, I have seen some of that, but I'm saying this from the perspective of somebody who would only have seen the movies.
Yeah.
It makes no
Yeah,
sense.
I get that. And going back to the point of him being redeemed so quickly. It's a lot of the stuff with Star Wars is it treats Vader and Anakin as separate beings in the same body. You see that with pretty much all the Sith
They're not,
have
though.
their personality, like their Sith personality. Darth Vader is treated as his own character, and you see that a lot more with the extended stuff. But you see it's a fight between these two people, and Darth Vader fighting for control. And for that whole time, Darth Vader was ruling with the Emperor and stuff. It was Vader was in control. And you see, it's a lot of the extended stuff, you see hints of like Anakin coming back. But for the most part, it's Vader is the character. And that's the one doing all the evil.
And I
So
find
you're
that as
saying-
a huge cop out.
So you're saying all these are just multiple personality disorders?
It's very similar to that idea, at least with Anakin and Vader.
That is definitely a cop out.
I think it's a cop out
Yeah.
because, I mean, if you want to go into, let's just say, Clone Wars. That's not movies, right? The whole scene. I don't know if anyone's seen it or not, but all the scenes with him and Ahsoka when he is Vader. Kind of throws that out the window, though. Especially how it ends in the series. With her lightsaber and stuff. I feel like he's two different people.
Well, no, you see that though, because in the Clone Wars,
I don't think so. I
in
think
the
that's
Clone Wars-
grasping at straws.
If you watched in the Clone Wars, the scene you're talking about where he grabs their lightsaber at the end, you see his eye. If you really look, you can see his eye change from red to blue, and like that's the thing. Like in a lot of Star Wars, especially the extended stuff, you see the fight between the two with the eye colors. His eye will be blue when he's Anakin, and his eye will be like orange, the Sith orange, when it's Vader. And most of the time it's the Sith orange, but then you get points like that where he picks up Ahsoka's lightsaber, remembers her.
But he's still Vader in his armor, like commanding his troops and stuff. Like he's still Vader. He's
Yeah.
just struggling with his decisions. The whole two-person thing is so dumb to me. Like it makes much more sense if he's struggling with everything. His new beliefs, past beliefs, old relationships, new relationships, where he wants to go and what powers he's using and stuff. That's fine. I hate the two. I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
I just don't like it.
Yeah, and I mean, Star Wars isn't for everybody, and even within the Star Wars fandom, there's a lot of stuff that's not for everybody in the Star Wars fandom. It's like we're talking about
course.
the sequels. Like I love Star Wars to death; it's probably one of my favorite things, but
We
I
know.
do not like the sequels in a lot of ways.
I enjoyed the first one,
I do
The
like
Force Awakens.
I do think Force Awakens is probably the strongest one.
Honestly, like, it's tough to say, like, what's my favorite Star Wars movie.
Mhm.
I think they're all entertaining.
Yeah,
I enjoyed Force Awakens more than I think I enjoyed any of the movies before it for a while. I don't know. It was just something new a little bit,
Yeah.
even though it really wasn't new. Everything was so cliche, and you could just see everything coming because it was like JJ's I don't know, trying to placate the fans who have been hurt so much because they can't be given what they wanted. They don't know what they want. And no matter if they were given what they wanted, they'd hate it regardless.
Oh, I
That's
feel
just
like
Star Wars fans.
we could all,
suck.
yeah, I feel like we all can agree. Star Wars fandom blows. Like, there's a ton of crappy people in the Star Wars fandom.
I think that's just true about any fandom.
Yeah,
to
I
be
agree.
fair.
And I think it
I
does.
mean, it's not just Star Wars.
It
at
does
that
lend
point.
itself
It's
to that.
literally
The
everything.
fact that Star Wars
Star Wars
is so big.
is by far the worst that I know of, man.
Yeah, it's.
You can't debate that one. But I don't know.
I think the biggest issue I have with the sequels is like, and J.J. Abrams just came out and said it, like, there was just no vision for it, and like they didn't really know what they wanted to do, and then they brought Rian Johnson in for the second one, and it was like he did his own thing and completely disregarded all of the Force and what the Jedi stood for, and what he tried to like tear down the like normal like things of the universe and just make its own thing. And
I
didn't
kind
rub
of
me the wrong way.
appreciated a little bit of that. I like how he tried to do something actually new. Like you said, Star Wars fans are never happy.
Yes.
They want the same thing. You give them the same thing. They hate it. They want something different. You give them a little different. They hate it. They want the same thing.
Yeah.
It's that kind of garbage. But Rian Johnson, like, obviously there was some messed up stuff in the movie, for sure. But he like tried to go a direction that was a little different. Like, people really, just one specific instance, I guess, the whole who were Rey's parents, right?
Mhm.
And then she got to Snoke, and he's like, you're nobody. They were nobody. Like,
Yeah.
I actually really liked that. That was everyone hated it for some reason.
I actually like that too.
And I'm like, that's cool. That means that literally anyone can have this power, can become this person. But no, then you just got to revert it back and retcon it. And, Palpatine's granddaughter.
Yeah.
She was destined with this
Oh
power.
yeah, that's
like, it's such
that's
garbage.
That's one of the only things I did actually like about Last Jedi was the fact that it was Rey was a nobody, and like she came.
That
to
was
this
cool,
point-
I thought.
Yeah, I did too. And then they kind of retconned that, like you said, in Rise of Skywalker, where it was like, oh, she's a Palpatine, and then the really thing that rubbed me the wrong way about that movie. I think there's a lot more good things in Rise of Skywalker, but the thing that really rubbed me the wrong way is at the end when it's like, oh, you're a Skywalker. I'm like, Rey Skywalker. I'm like, just own up to it. Like,
Yeah, that was really
be a
cheesy. I hated that.
Palpatine. Like, redeem, like, just fess up that you're a Palpatine, and like try to bring honor back to that name. Instead, oh no, I'm a Skywalker.
There's a
It's
lot
like,
of dumb stuff about that movie.
Now, do we blame Rian Johnson for that, or do we
no,
blame
that's
Disney?
J.J. Abrams. So
That's J.J. Abrams.
Yeah, Rian Johnson only did Last Jedi. That's the only thing.
So
he
what's
took for.
Disney's fault in all this then, do you think?
They-
Like,
it's just-
what point did Disney take over and say this is going to be the way that you have to take it?
Well, the thing that Disney is like, they just didn't have a vision, and they just told and they got J.J. Abrams, who didn't really have a clear vision either. That's the whole issue with the sequels in particular. I think Rogue One and Han Solo are pretty good. I love Solo.
I enjoyed
I
Solo.
did not like Solo.
I really liked Solo.
Rogue One
a lot.
was okay.
I thought Rogue One was pretty good. It added some context to A New Hope, and it's just like those two are good. It's a sequel trilogy. Like, they just didn't have a vision for that, and Disney just like, okay, we need to make movies because we haven't made them in a while, so let's go ahead and throw them out there. We bought Star Wars, let's do it.
When you get into something like this, some franchise that has a fandom like Star Wars does, or anything close to it, and you start just seeing all of the comments on the feeds and stuff, and what people want, and that you keep listening to what people want, and you try to give everyone what they want, it's gonna be a dumpster fire.
Oh yeah.
Just have a director that has a vision, that knows what he wants, that she wants to go, where they want to go, what they want to do with it, and let them create their thing.
Yeah.
And you're going to have a lot better, turnout probably doing that than trying to please everyone.
Yeah, and I agree with that. I completely agree with that. There's just the big issue, like, with the sequel trilogy is the fact that, like, J.J. Abrams said, he's like, yeah, I didn't know what I was really going to do for the story. Like, it's like, well, if you're going to do a sequel trilogy, like, you knew it was going to be a trilogy, you should at least write that out. And, like, at least I would understand, like, okay, they replaced him for the second one and then brought him back. Maybe he's like, okay, I tried to bring my story back into the last one with what I had to work with from what Rian Johnson did. But no, he's just like, no, I didn't know what I was doing. Like, I just kind of did.
He just tried to give people what they wanted. Like, do the same thing that people loved, right?
Which is why I think Force Awakens is the best of the three, because it's so like safe. It plays it so safe and does a lot of the
Yeah.
same story beats as the
It was
original
entertaining.
trilogy.
It was fun.
Yes.
It was really fun.
Yeah.
Do I think it was necessarily good? I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, he tried to just give people what they wanted. A little bit of the same of the old school, that people fall in love with. So you got the rehashing the same cliches, an even bigger Death Star, the father-son battle on the bridge.
I thought that was
nobody
cool, though.
becoming, coming into her own, finding lightsaber type
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
It was all the same.
Oh, for sure.
I think the thing with
The rebels versus the big,
the
big
solo
bad.
thing with Ben and Han, well, I thought that was one of the best parts of the movie because you see Han be like, oh, like, I understand my son has to do this to become who he needs to be. And so I'm like, he's basically like, he's ready to sacrifice himself. Like, he's like, just do it. And like, you see that kind of with some of the dialogue in that scene. You see, he doesn't directly say, yeah, just kill me and do what you need to do.
Yeah.
But he's like, he looks at his son and he realizes there's conflict in him, and he realizes that there's something there that needs to happen. And so he lets that, he's like, you got to do what you got to do, basically.
Now,
I don't know if I
do you
saw
think
that,
he
though.
did that though because he realized that he doesn't actually need him because he's always been solo?
Moving on. I don't know. I see what you're saying, but I honestly saw it like the opposite way. Like he saw there was
Jim's
conflict,
threatening
like
to
you
mute
said, but he's like, okay, my son's still there. I'm going to get him. I don't know if I saw the whole,
I think
do what you have to do. I understand. I'm a sacrifice for you moving forward. I don't know if I saw that too much. I don't know. It's just a weird scene.
I think he starts off like that. I think he goes onto that bridge with that mentality, but then he just, as he's talking to Ben, he like, you can even see in how Adam Driver's portraying that character in that scene. He's very like shaky and just like doesn't really know what to do, and he's very lost. And then Han's like, what you have to do. Like, I know you're conflicted on this, but this is how you have to do this to become who you need to be.
And I saw it as, you're still my son. You will always be my son. Come with me. It's not too late.
Yeah. And I think there was still some of that in there, but I think
Because even when he was stabbed with the lightsaber, his face looked like shocked.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know.
I bet probably deep down like he didn't want it. Like he knew what needed to happen, but he's like, maybe.
We can speculate all we want,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
I don't know. New trilogy cinematography was fantastic, but besides that, I don't know.
Yeah.
I just think it's incredibly iconic.
Mm-hmm.
Not that great.
See, and I love it. I think it is really good.
And like I say, I'm not a hater. I like
Yeah.
Star Wars. Don't get me wrong. You need to watch The Mandalorian.
Yeah.
You're
I know
failing
I
yourself.
do. I know. Before
So
the
good.
Mandalorian, though, one thing I need to watch for sure is I still haven't seen. This is different, but Pirates of the Caribbean, because the Sea of Thieves update.
I saw that, but that's what makes you want to.
Well, no, like I need to
What?
watch that first. I need to make sure I watch those first, so I'm ready for that. That's where my
I don't
mindset
think
is.
so. I think you need to watch Mandalorian right
you
now.
need to watch.
You really
Mandalorian.
do.
It's so good, dude.
I have things I need to watch before it.
No, you don't. just like you have lots of games you need to play, but you
Yep.
won't.
Well, it's not that I won't; it's that I haven't.
No, that you won't. You're a failure. I'm sorry.
Do you want to come hang
He's
out
not
someday and we
wrong.
can play through them?
Yeah,
We can make Let's Play videos for this channel or something?
maybe.
Okay, let's
played,
do it.
That'd be fun.
I just want you to
Speaking of Star
enjoy
Wars,
it,
you
not
played
make it a
Fallen
job.
Okay, so
I'm
should we
sorry.
move on to the next topic then?
Yeah.